Alright, so we talked briefly about Git branching earlier in the course, but let's discuss it in more detail now. Now, Git branching is one of the most powerful features of Git, and I think a real compelling reason to use Git in the first place. Now, branching is available in most version control systems, but in Git they really take it to the next level. So what distinguishes Git from the other version control systems is that Git branches are extremely lightweight, meaning they've got very little memory overhead or footprint. In other words, they don't take a lot of space, disk space. And in addition, they're very fast and efficient to make use of. Right, so let's just discuss what branches are now in a bit more detail. So think of a branch as simply a lightweight, movable pointer to a commit that you've made in your repository. So whenever you create a repository in Git, Git actually creates a branch called master for you. And you've probably seen that show up a few times in the videos so far. Now, the master branch really has no special significance other than the fact that it is made available for you by default automatically by Git when you create a new repository. Now, as developers, we're able to create new branches and update them anytime we like. Now, different branches can have different versions of our artifacts, or new artifacts for that matter, and you can also remove artifacts from a specific branch. Now, this allows us to have multiple versions of an application. Now, for example, we might be working on a new version of our application, so we can make a separate branch in Git for that new version while still maintaining the original branch for the original version of the app. So this would be useful if we're working on like a version 2 of a specific app and the version 1 is still out there, it's been released, and perhaps you're making a few changes to that, you're fixing bugs and so forth. You can keep that original version going whilst you're working on the the brand new version 2. So it's just a great way to separate things and still basically have two versions of a specific app. Now, another use for this might be to have a branch just for the released version of your app and another for development testing purposes. Now, traditionally, the master branch is treated as a production branch. Now, this means that the entire code base belonging to the master branch would be kept for production use and it's ready for deployment. So you wouldn't put any test code or development activities in that particular branch. That's just a way of doing things. You don't have to do it that way. It's just something that you've got a choice with when using Git. In that scenario though, if developers want to fix bugs or test new features, then they'd actually create a new branch and make changes there so as not to affect the main version of the app. So once the fixed bugs or features have been added and fully tested, then they can actually be merged back into the master branch. Now, this is one of the most powerful features of a branch. The fact is that you can work on it as a separate, virtually like a separate version of your app, but you can then merge that back in at a future point in time if you so decide. Now, branches enable developers to work on things without affecting the main version of an app. That's really it in a nutshell. And you're not restricted to using branches just for the reasons that I've mentioned here. You can use them for literally anything. Really, anytime you want to work on a new feature or release, you can create a branch and then optionally merge some or all of your changes back to another branch at a later time. The bottom line here is that branches give incredible flexibility to developers, allowing us to work on multiple versions of our projects at once or to maintain a released production version and test version of our apps. Alright, so let's now swing over to the shell and just see how to use branches from the command line. Alright, so let's open up a terminal. So open up a shell on your operating system. Alright, so we're going to have another look at our converted Git repository. So I'm going to go to my folder, my Git repos home folder, and we're going to go into the converted Git repo folder. Obviously we've seen that in previous videos, and note that it's actually showing master there, so that's showing us that we've got a branch here called master. So if there's actually a command that will list the local branches in our repository, and when I say local I mean non-remote, that is branches that have been created on this machine. Later I'm going to show you how to display both local and remote branches, but for now if we type in git branch, You can see that we've just got one branch at the moment, which was the default one created by Git when we created the repository. And obviously the name there is master. All right, so let's actually have a look at the commit history. So git space log -- one line. And we've got a total of 6 commits, as you can see there. All right, so let's go ahead and create a branch. So let's create this branch by typing git branch login feature branch. Let's just say that we've decided to work on a new feature for this app, and we want to make sure that any changes that we work on don't affect the main master branch. So we're creating a new one by git space branch space and then whatever the branch name is that we want to work on. And you can see there was a short delay, and now that branch has been created. And we can confirm that by looking at our local branches, git branch again. And you can see we've now got this login feature branch as well as the master. All right, so let's now switch into that branch using the checkout command. So this would be if we decided to work on the files for that particular branch and we don't want to affect the master branch. So the way we do that is we use the git checkout command. So I'll type in git space checkout space and then the name of the branch. So login feature branch. And you can see it says there's switch to branch login feature branch. So we can do a git branch again. And notice that the branch that we're working on is now highlighted in green. Previously it was master, and now that we've switched to the login feature branch by using the git checkout command, the login feature branch is now showing in green. So that tells us at a glance which one we're working on. And also if we look at the command prompt, we can see that it says login feature branch, whereas in the past up here it was showing master. And that's another great reason for using that git prompt that we downloaded and set up in a previous video, just so you know at a glance which branch you're actually working on. All right, so let's have a look at the log for this branch. So git log -- one line. And you can see we've got the same commit history as we did in the master branch. There are no changes there. So the log command is showing the exact same commit history that was displayed in the previous execution. And what that really should show you is that it confirms that a newly created branch is based on another branch, master in our example. When you do that, it inherits the commit history of that originating branch. Basically, it's based on another branch, the new branch that we've created, which in this case was master. So think of the login feature branch as having been created with the master branch as the base. So if you're familiar with object-oriented programming techniques, the login feature branch effectively inherits from the master branch. So we've got everything that's in the master branch, and we can now extend that and add to it if we want to. So in line of actually doing that, let's create a simple file in this branch and see how it works when we go to ultimately commit to it. Commit to the repository. So I'm going to do a vi. We'll just call this branch demo file. Doesn't really matter what's in there. Machaka was here. You put whatever you would like there, that's no problems. Save it. All right, let's go ahead and add it. So git add branch demo file. Let's also do a commit. So git commit -m, and we'll put first commit in the new feature branch. And you can see it's telling us on the screen login feature branch first commit. So it's giving us the branch name here, so we know that it has been committed to that login feature branch. And let's confirm that it's there. So git log -- one line. Have a look at our commit history. And we can see right at the top there, first commit in the new feature branch. So it's clearly in there. So now that we've done that, let's switch back to our master branch. So firstly, having a look at the git branch command. Actually, I'll clear the screen first. Git branch. So we're still in the login feature branch because that's highlighted in green. Let's check out the master one. So git space checkout master and git space branch again. We're back working on the master, as we can see there. And now if we go back and have a look at the commit history, so git space log -- one line again. Note how this time we can't see the changes that we've made to that other branch. And that's consistent because both branches are different and distinct to each other. Yes, we started off having basically a mirror image of the master branch when we created our login branch, but then we went ahead and added a file, in this case, to the login branch, and that's now different and distinct to the master branch. So they've both got their own versions of the files at this point, and we've confirmed that because there's no commit history in the master branch for the file that we added to the login feature branch. Now, the git log, we can actually use another command there, another parameter, which is the decorate parameter, and that displays the branch info as well. All right, so let's actually have a look at that. So it's going to be git login. Actually, just do an up arrow here, and at the end of the one line, I'll put space dash dash. Let's put decorate as well. Now you can see here we've got the head showing there. So the head is the branch top or the latest commit, which you can see at this point in time has this ID of 95FF556. And that's obviously the morning ritual 5th step. So let's pretend or assume that we've completed development in the login feature branch, and we want to merge the code changes that we made in that branch back into our current branch, which is the master branch. So the command to do that is we type git space merge space login feature branch. So we can see what's happened there. We've got updating there. We've got the head, the 95FF556. That was the latest version, the latest commit from our master branch. And this other number is the latest commit from the login branch. And they've both been updated and merged, and have been merged now into this master branch. So basically both heads here, both the latest versions, the latest commits for both have been merged into the master branch. Now, when you see the word, the term there, fast forward, that's a type of merge. Now, this is the simplest type of merge, and this happens when there's no change in the target branch. Now, the target branch, in this case, is our master branch. This is where we're wanting to put the changes to or send them to. So what I mean by that is we haven't also made a change in our master branch that needed to be worked on. We only made the change. The only change was in the login feature branch, and as a result, it was merged. The only merge was that one file, the branch demo file that we added to the login feature branch that was ultimately added back to the master branch. So that's the simplest form of a merge. We're not going to go into merging in much more detail in this course, but if you really wanted to find out more about it, remember that BibHash has got a Git Complete Mastery course that goes into a lot more advanced merging techniques. The bottom line though here is this is how you go about creating a new branch, making your changes, and then merging them back into the master branch. All right, so the last thing now is let's go back and do the decorate command again. So I'm going to go back up, git log dash one line space dash dash decorate. And noticing now though that at the head there we can see the master and login feature branch first commit in the new feature branch. So basically the changes that were made in the login feature branch now exist in this version. And we can confirm that by just doing an ls. And there's our branch demo file showing on the screen there. So that's obviously been loaded back into the master branch. So basically this line here, this head master login feature branch, what that's saying is they're now at the same level, and they're both pointing to this ID here, which was the ID originally from the login feature branch. So essentially we can you could view that output to say that the merge is complete, because previously up here, the head for master, before we went ahead and did the merge, was pointing to a different ID. So the ID has changed now, and you can see the ID was now the second oldest commit, and has been replaced with the top one. So clearly the merge has been successful, and the two branches have now been put back into it. Now, another thing I just want to quickly show you is that once you've done working on a particular branch, you can delete it. Now, obviously you wouldn't want to delete it if you wanted to keep the changes and merge them back in. You have to make sure you did the merge command first so you don't lose the changes. But in our case, we're actually done. We have completed the merge, so we can actually type git branch space dash d, then whatever the name of the branch is. So login feature branch. And you can see that the branch was deleted. Login feature branch was deleted. And we can type in git branch again. We've only just got the one there. And just out of interest, we can go up, press the up arrow, and have a look at our detailed output. And you can see that this has changed slightly now. It's no longer showing the second branch. The ID is still the same, but it's now just used by the master branch because the other branch has effectively been deleted. Alright, so let's end this video here. I'll see you in the next video.